Was going to tackle a problem I saw earlier on, that it leaks a few drops every now and then near the heater that heats the hydraulic oil. And to tackle that, I needed to drain the tank, and there is a drain plug, and we had the hose, the same hose as we have used earlier on the forwarder, so we had that already in a clean barrel to collect the oil in. Remove the filter. Here you can see the connection is in here under the tank. Remove the filter to be able to see the level. I wanted to ensure that I was below the connection for that heater. But it was draining really slowly. I wonder if it's a little gunked up, the elbow that connects to it. Tried removing the breather tube for the tank, and a little bit of air. I could see the level rise, and it didn't really increase the flow rate, but it was draining at least, so I'm not gonna bother with that anything. So I started looking at clamping off the hoses that feed the coolant into the coil that heats the hydraulic oil. A little mad at myself that I didn't realize sooner that I should have cut these and gotten them to come off easier, because they were kind of fused onto the copper tubing that is the heater. So I messed with them for a while, had some metal pieces to put there as plugs so I could tighten the clamp and remove the block off we had made, and then loosen the other end to be able to twist it up and out of the way while working. Later it was done too, and here it was even harder, because here the copper part for the heater wanted to slide in and out, so it was kind of a struggle getting the kind of fused rubber off the piping, and I should have just cut them, because I ended up replacing them anyway. I had to torture them too much to comfortably reuse them. Flip that out of the way also. Pushed a little compressed air in to see what the coolant coming out looked. I was a little worried this area could be gunked up, but it seemed to be zero resistance. Double checked that the level was low enough before proceeding, and here it got a little bit tricky. Didn't have a proper wrench for this, so the adjustable big one came out, but it wasn't on there that hard, so it wasn't really a problem. And it started coming out, and then it was kind of fused to the rubber here that seals, but prying it off with the pliers it kind of popped off. And I think there's the new set has a washer or a ring, a support ring that goes on each side of the rubber. I think the old ones had it also, but it's fused to the nut, I think. But the new seals, they come complete with the nut, the rubber, and two support rings. And since the end of this heater is wider, these have a slot in them, so just finding that and prying that open, and they could be removed quite easily. And here comes that support ring also. But here you can see it kind of bends up a little. It's because it's in there from the side of the tank, so it's kind of supports the weight on its own. Put the ring in and then lubed up the rubber part, and then the next ring, and then it was kind of a struggle getting it to, because it's kind of off center, but giving the upper pipe a twist kind of centered things up, so it was possible to start pushing the rubber into its seat. And then getting the nut to start getting the threads to grab was a little bit of a struggle, but not impossible. Eventually had it on there, but had to kind of hold it with a twist to keep it centered while I tightened the other one, so a little bit of a tricky maneuver, but not too bad. And once that was getting closer to starting clamping up, it kind of started centering things up, so the top one was tackled. It was just the bottom one that showed any signs of leaking, but going through the process of draining the tank and everything, I suspect it's best to do both of them right away, or not have the second one starting to leak right after it's been put back together. And here also holding it with a twist to center things up, as tightening the upper one into place, and kept holding that twist to center things as I got them on there nice and good. And also because they were pulled out a little bit to have better access to the rubber, so they were pushed back in roughly where they were seated before, and then giving it a nice tight fit, or tightening it up nice and good. Pulled out the strainer out of the tank also, because I wanted to see the coil itself, and it looks a little bit on the black side. I guess that's kind of over the years a little bit of build up on there, but the tank itself looks super clean down there. It would guess it would have been, but maybe it's a risk having some kind of support there for the heater also, or something that helps the weight rather than all of it resting on those rubber seals. Filter was put back and tightened up, then the barrel with the oil was moved a little closer to the fill pump. We took it in stages. I didn't want to torture the pump, so it was 3 or 4 or maybe 5 runs. My dad filled the last little bit. I had to leave. Took some time cleaning a few other things while the pump was running. Because I'm gonna chase some oil leak up around this area next, and some of the hoses looks like they've seen better days. As I said, I decided to get new hoses for this, so I had to pick them up before I could proceed. Cleaned up all the kind of fused on there rubber, new hoses in place. Just put one side on there, and then just pull the old one off the other end and quickly move the new one in place. First one went nicely, a little bit of lube to help the clamps seat nicely. Had to get some new clamps for the other end, since they were in use holding the plugs. But here I ran into issues on the other one. Here the clamp had seized on me, so had to find a new one and pull that off and put a new one in place. So lost a little bit of coolant there, but not too badly, and I have collection underneath.